Hey guys, what's up? I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of basically how to write duckyscript on your Flipper Zero. I know you guys saw some of my other videos where I was running code on there, and some of you guys are like, "How did you do that?" Like, or "What did you do?" Like, "How did you do this?" So I'm just going to make a basic tutorial video, basically how to run duckyscript on your Flipper Zero. Um, Basically, for this, you're going to need a micro SD. I had a 256 gigabyte laying around. I was trying to mod my Vita and it didn't work out too well. So I just ended up having this micro SD that I never used. And I used that for my flipper. So now I never run out of space. You can get whatever, though. You don't really need 256 gigabytes. Um, yeah, so you're going to need a micro USD, or micro USD, micro SD card for your flipper. Make sure when you get your micro SD for your flipper that you format the files so that way it saves all your flipper files on the SD card itself. Because later on, when you're writing your script and everything and you want to save your files, you can save directly to the folder and it'll just go right into your Flipper Zero. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute when we get into that. The next thing you're going to need is a thumbstick drive that has a micro SD adapter. I have my SD adapter plugged in here already, so that way I could just slip in the micro SD right in there and get started. So first things you're going to want to do when doing this is well, let's talk about another thing you need. Another thing you need is Notepad. I definitely recommend Notepad++ because it definitely helps in identifying code and all that thing, and like make sure you're writing the right things. So that way you're not just using Notepad and it's, unless you're more like you're used to it, you can use Notepad. But I like using Notepad++ because it gives me a little more control over what I write. Um, but anyways, so you're gonna go into the settings in your Flipper Zero. You're gonna go to storage. This is after you have your micro SD card, or yeah, micro SD card in there. You're gonna unmount your SD card. Hit unmount. I'm not bothered. Sorry if I'm not like showing it on the camera, but as you can see, it gets kind of blurry when I point this to the camera. It doesn't pick up the LCD screen very well, so I'm not really gonna point it at the screen at this point. But it'll give you a prompt to unmount your SD card when you go into the storage setting. You hit unmount, and it'll say SD card is now unmounted. You can take it out. So we're going to take our micro SD card out. We're going to plug it into our adapter with the thumb drive on it. I put it in upside down. Whoops. And so now we have that all put in there. I'm going to go ahead and put this in my computer, and then I'm going to show you guys basically what to do next. So we're going to plug our thumbstick in. Thumbstick is now in the drive. And as you can see, it now has the files pulled up here. It detected my Flipper SD because I formatted it. Make sure, very important when you get your SD, your micro SD card, make sure you format it with the Flipper. You can actually format it inside Flipper. It'll give you the option for that. So now you can see I can have all my files from Flipper Zero here showing in this Flipper SD. So here's my BadUSB file, and that's where basically all my duckyscript code goes. Anything I save as a .text file into here as a duckyscript. So then we're going to open Notepad++ just to basically start coding. So when using Notepad++, the first thing you're going to do is get the duckyscript encoder, or ducky encoder, whatever it's called. Duck encoder, that's what it is. You can go on Google or GitHub and just look it up, and you'll find it. Just look up duck encoder. It's an executable jar file. Just download that, and you're gonna basically use that as your language. So what happens is once you have the duck encoder downloaded from GitHub or Google, whatever you could just literally just look it up and you'll find it. Um, Basically, you go to language here, and if duckyscript isn't there yet, which it won't be if you just downloaded Notepad++, you're going to go to define your language, which opens up this over here, this little menu here. You're going to go to import, and then I have it saved on my desktop. Wherever you save the duck encoder at, you're just going to basically find that file and just download it in there. and then that'll import your Ducky file over there. Or rather, it's not. Sorry, it's not Duck Encoder you want. That's just a website that encodes. I am so sorry. You actually just you can go to this little link here. You could probably see it in my computer. It's the Ivan. This is the guy I think who actually made the tutorial I watched on how to write duckyscript. You just go to GitHub, follow this link, and you'll get a download for the UDL documentation, and you could just import that, and it should give you the duckyscript language. So anyways, back to it. You're just going to select duckyscript as your language once you have it downloaded and everything. And then another very important part I noticed is to go to open up your edit tab and go to EOL conversion. Now from here, you're going to want to select, I already have it selected because I always use it now. You're going to initially be set on Windows CRLF. I don't recommend using this because whenever flipper 0 would get to the enter command, I would get an error on whatever line enter was on. And so like if enter was line 8, it would be like error line 8. And I was trying to figure out why the enter button didn't work. Well, a little digging on Google and some forums after about maybe like a half hour, I found that somebody else had the same problem, and another user suggested using Unix LF, and the person said that completely fixed the issue, and it did with mine as well. So just make sure to save any time and hassle or confusion or frustration. Just go to your edit tab, go to EOL conversion, and select Unix LF, and you should have no problems writing. So now we can write our script. Basically, we're going to start with a delay of 1 second. Be very generous with your delays too, because it's going to vary on what type of computer you're using to how fast. Basically, duckyscript writes very, very, very fast. So if you don't write any delays and you just keep typing like string, enter, string, the computer's not going to be able to keep up. And it's going to mess your code all up, and it's going to do a bunch of random things and not what you want it to do. So just make sure you're generous with your delays, and you put a couple of those in between every line. I like to do 1 whole second. Some people do maybe like half a second because their computer runs faster. But I think about if I'm writing it on somebody else's computer, and it's like I want to show off and run it on one of my friend's computers. They might not have as fast a computer as me. So you just want to put like, I'm very generous with how many seconds I give each line. So just make sure you're given like at least half a second to a second between each command. So we're going to write delay 1000. We'll do GUI R, that's GUI space R. And basically what that does, GUI is your Windows key. So it's saying to hit the Windows key and R at the same time, and that should open your command prompt. So when it runs the code, it's going to open up the command prompt. And then from there, we're going to give it one more delay just to give it time to open if it needs a time. Just shouldn't for a command prompt, but we'll give it a second just to be generous. And then we're going to type string. So basically, anytime you type string, the computer, it's telling the script or the part of the code, basically, okay, whatever you type after this is what I'm going to type in on your code. So now that we have the command prompt open, it's going to you just type string. So now it's going to say, okay, what do you want to type in the command prompt? So we're going to write notepad. And now that should write notepad in your command prompt bar. From there, we're going to hit delay one more time. Be very generous and give it a whole second. Enter. And then you just type in enter. Make sure you're doing all caps too, because duckyscript reads all caps for any command. Not the strings, but any command you write, make sure it's in all caps. Space. All right, so now it should be this command here with all these delays in the string that I've just written. By this point, it should open Notepad. So we're going to give it a delay of a second again, just to give it time to open Notepad, because you don't want to rush too fast or it's just going to start typing and it's going to mess it up and get all funky. Give it a second to open. Then you're going to write string again. And now whatever I type is going to show up in Notepad. So let's say I want to do hello world, and we'll do an exclamation point on that. And I mean, at this point in time, for this purposes of this video and tutorial, this is basically all the code we're going to do. So now we have successfully told this code, by writing this code and what we wrote here, it's basically the script that's going to run is run command prompt, type in notepad, hit enter. Once notepad's open, it's going to write hello world with an exclamation point. From here, you're just going to save this file. And now this is one of the most important things. You're going to go to your Flipper SD, go into your BadUSB folder up here at the top. You can see I have all my codes here and all my scripts that I wrote so far. Now this is the most important part. I'm not going to actually save it because as you can see I actually have a hello world file. But the most important part is make sure you save it directly to your BadUSB, and when you save it in here, whatever you decide to name it, make sure you save it as a .txt file. Because if you don't save it as .txt, it's just going to show up as a blank page and Flipper's not going to read it. I learned that the first time trying to do this. So make sure hello world.txt. Now I'm not going to save it because like I said, I have this file already. And I'll run that for you as an example to show you how it works. But just remember, it's very important that you save it as a .txt file or all this will have been for nothing and it won't work. So I'm just going to erase that because I already have it saved. I already have one code already for a hello world code and I don't need another one. So from here, once you've saved it, you can close out Notepad and it'll show up directly in your Flipper SD card. So now that file is now on the micro SD card and in your BadUSB function file folder. So from here, you can just go ahead and eject your thumbstick. Once you have it ejected, I'm going to bring you back to my face over here. So now we have the thumbstick ejected and we pulled it from the thumb drive. You're just going to take your micro SD card out of the adapter. You're going to plug it back into your Flipper. Make sure it clicks in there or else it won't read it. You want to get that nice green flash. There it goes. You can see that it now reads the card and that tells me it's in there. So if you go back now to your main menu, you'll be able to go to your BadUSB setting, hit enter, and then if we go down, you can see the hello world file is down there. Whatever you wrote, it shows up at the bottom. Whatever your newest one is, shows up at the bottom. So you can see that file is on there now. So basically what we're going to do from here is you're just going to take your cable. I have a longer one because I'm using the phone charger because I didn't... The cable that came with it's kind of short. Not going to lie, Flipper. I'll let it go, but it's kind of short and I like the longer cables because I like to be able to play with the Flipper up here and show you guys all the neat things it does. You're just going to plug your Flipper into your computer in the USB drive. And now we're going to go ahead and click enter on the hello world program file we wrote. And then from here, it's going to give you the prompt for run by hitting enter. So I'm going to show you my screen again and basically show you what happens when we run that program. So this is the file we just wrote. And if you wrote everything correctly and followed this to the T, it should have no problem running. We'll hit run. As you can see, it's typing in Notepad, hits enter, types in the Notepad, hello world. So there you go. There's your basic BadUSB function, and that's basically how to write and script something. So now, I know you've seen my videos where it does the links to YouTube and opens up the different things like the Rickroll script and very basic stupid little scripts that go to YouTube videos. If you want to write a script like that, basically you can open Notepad. I'm not going to plug in because I already have so many files already saved for Rickroll and all that other crap. I made so many stupid links to YouTube videos and just dumb scripting. But anyways, let's say, okay, well, now I know how to type in Notepad, but I don't know how to Rickroll somebody. Let's say I want to like Rickroll someone and write it like I want to get to the video like you were doing in your other videos. So basically you're just, instead of writing Notepad for the string for after you write the Windows and command prompt, once it opens command prompt and you do your delay and write string, you could just type in Chrome and you basically just replace Notepad with Chrome and keep the enter there. And what that'll do is it'll basically open Chrome here. And then let's say, okay, what we're going to do from here is once Chrome's open, we're going to write string, all caps, make sure it's all caps. You're going to write string. And then basically you can just take a link to a YouTube video. So let's say we want to go to youtube.com or wherever you want to go. You can open any website you want. It's kind of funny. You can get experimental with it. So I have never going to give you up down here. And no copyright for me, YouTube. So basically you're just going to take the direct link to this video here. You can go ahead and copy that, exit out of that. And then where it says string here, you're just going to paste that link. And then what that's going to do is basically type in, once it opens Chrome, it's going to tell it to type in this link in the web search. And then from here, you just hit enter. Give it another delay. And give it a second. And then you just hit enter. And now what will happen is that will literally just open a direct link to this YouTube video, and you can rickroll whoever you sent this code or program this code to on their computer with your Flipper Zero. And you can get creative with it. You know, you can do all sorts of commands from the command prompt and make it go. Yeah, you get creative. You'll figure out the point. It's really easy. Now again, let me go back to here. Now again, I'm no professional duckyscript writer. I'm not a coder. I don't have any background in that. I'm not an IT guy. I don't do anything like that. It took me 2 days to figure out the basics of duckyscript, and I've been having so much fun with it. And Flipper Zero makes that very, very easy because it reads the duckyscript directly. You don't need to do all the complicated stuff of making like an inject file or anything like that. It's better than the USB in my opinion. And you can control when it runs the program. I really love this device and all the stuff I've been able to do. But like I said, I'm no professional. I can probably answer some of your questions in the very basic forms. If you have any questions for me or any suggestions that I didn't mention in this tutorial, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know what I missed out on, or maybe you want to learn something else about it that I know that you might not know, or vice versa. If you know something that I don't know and you could provide good information on maybe just some tips and tricks for me for writing duckyscript, that'd be awesome too. You know, I love the community so far. I've been posting to Facebook. I know a couple of you guys probably saw this. I've been keeping up on the Discord. I definitely recommend getting on the Discord for Flipper Zero because you'll stay up to date on all the basically all the firmwares and everything, and just any information that people release. It's a good way to keep updated on any information related to Flipper Zero. There's not a lot of videos out there yet, other than like unboxings and some like tests on the infrared, and some of the other ones with the gigahertz, with the sub gigahertz and all that, and the frequency analyzer, those kind of things. There was one that was pretty good that I liked, but I just wanted to make this because I know a couple people were asking me like, yo, how did you do that duckyscript on there? So I said, you know what, I'll make a tutorial video for you guys. But thank you so much for watching all the way through. I really appreciate it, and I'm so glad to be a part of this little hacker community now. I hope whoever gets one of these enjoys it so much like I have. I've been having so much fun. And also using the duckyscript, writing a lot of script helps your guy level up a little bit too for the experience, for the cosmetic change. Because you know how the Flipper basically has 3 forms. It's like a little Tamagotchi that evolves like a Pokemon. And I got it about a quarter up so far. It moves slow, but it does move. And if you do a lot of scripting and you run a lot of these BadUSBs, it's a really good way to practice coding and also get your guy to evolve. But yeah, that's really all I have. Like I said again, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you guys soon. Hopefully I'll come up with some more videos for some funny scripts that I can write. Take care, everybody.